Alright, so we got the gas tank taken apart on this thing, and I got the fuel pump assembly out, cleaned it up a little bit. It's got some rust on it, so there's the gas tank. So that will be the fuel pump right there. That's the fuel filter. You can see how old those fuel lines are. They're all swollen up, just falling apart. So in this gas tank, the fuel pump goes directly at the bottom, sits up. When you turn it upside down the right way, it sits straight up and down. So this tank here is pretty crusty. It's got some crust in there. So hopefully I can pressure wash a lot of this out and put some evapor rust treatment stuff in it that I picked up. Like I said, I located a gas tank, but it's almost in the same condition, but it's got a lot of dents on the outside. So we got some evapor rust, heavy duty rust remover. Picked up a gallon of it. I'm gonna try and just pour the whole thing in there. I'm gonna put the fuel pump back on it so the tank can be sealed, and swish it around. Probably throw some gravel in there with it, or some loose nuts and bolts, and swish that around. Try and knock some of that scaly rust off. Like I said, this tank was leaking on this side. I don't know if I can repair that or not yet until I sand all this paint off. But I'm gonna try and clean it up best I can. I mean, it's pretty nasty in there. This bike's set up for a long time, and I think moisture got in there too. But I got a new gas cap for it with the key, so I'm gonna have to flip it over. Flip it over, drill this out so I can get this this gas cap off here, and then I can put the new one on. But I really want to, because if I put the new one on, all that stuff is going to get on the new one, get all up inside it. So I think I'm just going to leave that sealed for now. Or if I do open it, I can just leave it on there, because if you look inside of there, that's the gas, the bottom side of the gas top. So if I put the new one in there, that's gonna, all that stuff is gonna get up in it. Then I have to clean it out. So I'm probably just gonna break the lock open and leave it on there for now, and then clean it out, and then once we get it as clean as we can, we'll put the new cap on there. And I got a new fuel pump, fuel filter too. So anyway, I'm gonna try and get this tank open, see can we get some of that rust treatment in there. First I'm gonna probably pressure wash it out, get the loose stuff out, then put the rust treatment in there, and hopefully we can clean this tank up. Maybe throw a little JB Weld on the side right there, or some gas tank repair stuff. Once we get the rust out of that corner, we'll be able to see how bad it's leaking. It might show up some more rusty areas. This tank might not be able to be saved. It's just surface rust. But sometimes surface rust turns into holes when you start cleaning these tanks out. So we'll see how it turns out. If not, I just go with plan B and just see if I find a gas tank the same color. I've located two. One of them pretty reasonable, but it's almost in the same shape. But it's just got a lot of dents on the top of it, like the bike fell over a couple times. So if I can avoid that, we'll be good. So we get this thing clean, or get the soaking process started. So I got the gas top finally open. I drilled the lock out, hammered a screwdriver and punch in there. This tank is pretty scaly. I mean, look at that. That is a lot of bad gas. I don't know why people don't drain gas tanks before they let bikes sit up. I mean, it's not hard to just take the petcock off and let it drain out, or pull the fuel pump out, or just dump the thing upside down, or get you some kind of siphoning pump. Get the gas out of it. Just ruin the gas tank. So it's about 30 degrees outside. Might slide about a car wash, and now that I got the top open, stick the pressure washer hose off in there. Try and blow some of that out. That'll make it easy for that rust treatment to eat up that rust. So I'm gonna get this thing, I guess, take it to the car wash. Hopefully they're not frozen, and see if I can blow some of that out of there and see what it looks like. Right now, I mean, that's a lot of rust, and tank might not be any good. The thing about these tanks is they got this compartment up here where gas sits, so it's kind of hard to get the pressure washer in there and get some cleaner in there. So I'll see what I can do. If not, like I said, I'll just order another gas tank. Took the gas tank out, pressure washed it out as much as I can, and I did find some holes right in the center of this hump. There's a little pinhole. It's kind of hard to see it. After I stuck a wire brush on my drill down in there and cleaned that off, and on each corner there's a couple of holes on each corner, which I knew there was because when the tank was on the bike, you can see the brown stuff running down the frame. So let's see here. Right there. Right in that pinch well right there. There's a couple of holes there. And over here, you can see it right there. So I kind of cleaned the paint off of that. I bought some fuel tank repair stuff made by JB Well. Says it repairs gas tanks, aluminum, and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's kind of like magnet steel, if you ever use that. It's just a putty. You cut off what you need and you smush it around your hand until it mixes up, and then you just smear it on. So I'm gonna try and put that on each side of the tank. And, let's see. I don't know if you can see it. That one little pinhole somewhere right there. Kind of see it. It's a pinhole right there. I cleaned it off with the wire wheel. I didn't see anything else. So looks like that should be it. And inside, it's hard to focus in there. Had to get the light and I can't hold the tank. Let's see if we can flip it upside down. This tank is awkward. I mean, it's hard to clean. I'm still gonna put some rust treatment in it though. But I cleaned it up as good as I can. I took a wire brush and kind of brushed off right up in here. So we cleaned it up pretty decent. Like I said, I'm still going to put some of that rust treatment in it. But first I want to repair these rust holes right on this corner. I mean, water came spraying out of there. And then the one that's a little teeny hole right there. You can see light.
this right here. No, that ain't none. I know it's a hole. Well, there's two holes then. This is a hole there. This is the hole I actually seen. So there's a hole there and there's a hole there. Yeah. Yep. So it's two pinholes. And hopefully no more come up. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this clean. It's probably about 20 something degrees outside, so I'm gonna have to crank the heat back up and work on this because there's nothing else to do outside. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and get this patch, let it sit, and we'll fill it up and see if it still leaks. Okay, so it's that time to go ahead and put the engine in this thing. Got the frame kind of cleaned up before the snowstorm came in the other day, and got everything ready to go. So here's the engine. I gotta figure out how I'm going to get it in there, because it goes in from the bottom side. I got this motorcycle jack, so I'm thinking about putting the engine on the motorcycle jack, secure it, and I might have to pick the frame up with the engine lift or cherry picker, whatever you want to call it. I might have to pick the frame up and let the engine down on, let the frame down on top of the engine, because it actually mounts here and here, and the bolts go through there. Now I didn't take the engine out of this thing, and also those two mounting parts there. I didn't take the engine out of this thing, so I don't know how it goes in or come out. Didn't bother with looking on YouTube of a video. I said I just figured it out myself. But we should have all the bolts and stuff to hopefully put it back in there. So I'm going to try that. So it might take me a minute to get it in there, because like I said, I don't know how it came out, and I don't know how it goes back in. If it gets too frustrating, maybe I will look at a video on YouTube. But I know either way, it's got to go in from the bottom. So that might require picking the frame up and letting the frame down on top of the engine, and then jack the engine up to those motor mounts. So I'm gonna get this engine lowered on here, see if we can slide it up under there or whatever we're gonna do, and get it in there and bolt it up. As you can see, it's no fun. The bike leaning one way, the jack going the other way, the motor going the other way. But I did get the bottom motor mount bolt all the way through. It's all the way through there. I had to figure out which one was which. And it's got that little adjuster thing. It's like a little pipe. You can adjust the motor mount to tighten the engine, I guess, to take the slack out of it after a while. But only thing I gotta do now is jack the front of it up, and then I can get this bolt here, which goes through the frame. Had to figure that out. Go through the frame and go through here, and then you got your 4 bolts up front. You got 2 here and then 2 on the other side, and then it should be in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the engine jacked up so I can get those bolts in. Did I mention we got snow today? We got, like, I want to say 3 to 4 inches of snow outside. So it's about 11 degrees out there, so it's really cold. So this is the perfect time to do it. There's somebody out there spinning out or something, cutting donuts. But this is the perfect time to do this while it's too cold to do anything outside, and when it do get warm, maybe we'll have it running. Not warm, but warm enough to ride it. We'll be able to take it for a test bin. So you make sure all these wires and stuff is not in the way, because a lot of it was in the way when I was trying to jack the engine up. Took me a minute, but I figured it out. Untangle some of these cables and stuff. I couldn't figure out how that wire harness went. The wire harness that runs along the frame, I couldn't figure that out, so it's just kind of in there. But since that bolt's in there, I don't know if I can pick up on the engine. I might can pick it up. The bike is leaning. If I can pick it up, I can get this back bolt in. Should swing up now that I got it. The old heater coming off. thing gets toasty in here. So it's standing up on its own. So like I was saying, I just got to get the front bolts. They're all in this bag over here. There's 2 bolts that go through here. Find those, and she is in. I still got to pull this clutch cable cover off. That covers the front sprocket anyway. I got to pull it off so I can put the chain on, which I got a brand new chain for it because it didn't come with one. But it's in there. Got that bolt in. I'm lucky those spacers, there's some spacers in the frame right here. I'm pushing one out. I'm lucky those didn't fall out when I brought it home on the trailer, because I would have had to buy those. So luckily they stayed in there. There's actually some little Allen head bolts. After you get it tight, you tighten these Allen head bolts up, and that keeps those spacers from falling out. We gotta put the exhaust on it, but it's in there. Like I said, I just gotta tighten those bolts up and start sorting through all these hoses. A lot of this stuff is off the old motor, and this is off of the new motor, which this is already on the frame. Let's sort through all these hoses and stuff, and where's that go? I guess that lies like that. It goes to the bottom of the airbox. And so there's that. But yeah, I just got to sort through all that and be ready to wire it all up. I got a new key switch for it. The gas tank, new gas cap. It came with the key switch. So it's on there, and I fixed it with some JB Weld on both sides. Right now I got some of that Evapor rust in it, letting it soak. I actually need 1 more gallon, but everything's snowed over outside. I don't even know if they're open today, but I'm just letting it kind of soak on the front end, because up here at the front of the tank is where I couldn't get to pressure wash it. So I'm gonna let it sit there for a minute, then I'm gonna tilt it back up, and then that way I'll be able to see if that JB Weld sealed up everything. So, but yeah, we got a new key switch for it, new battery, chain. So I'm gonna get this engine bolted the rest of the way up, and then I'll go through the wiring, try and get all that figured out. I think this fuel line, they cut it. It comes from the injectors up to the gas tank. They cut the little quick connect end off of it, this thing right here. It's supposed to be on this hose to snap to the sending unit on the gas tank, so I might have to order that. Or, well, it don't have a flare on it where a hose can stay on it, so I hate to put a hose clamp and hose on it and then it flies off and gas go everywhere. So maybe I can order that. If not, maybe I can see about making one, but we'll worry about that when we get there. Right now, we'll get this engine all bolted up, but it's in. Bike's on the ground. So if you're doing one of these, you see how I did it. I used my engine lift, and I lifted the bike all the way in there, and I had the motorcycle jack, slid the engine up under it. Could have did a little better job if I had 2 hands, but it didn't really take that long. Just had to look at it and figure out how it go. But at least the engine is in it, and now we can move on to hooking everything up. So I'm gonna get started on that and see what we can do. Got a lot accomplished after getting the engine in and getting it tightened. We got the wiring all hooked up, except for a couple of things. We got to change the key switch. That is this plug here. This plugs to the fans, I believe. We got all the coil packs plugged in, the map sensor, the throttle position sensor, which is right here. This goes to the bottom of the air box. This is a, I think the air temp sensor. We got the fuel injectors all hooked up. Got harness right here going to each fuel injector. It's all hooked up. We got the purge valve and whatever this valve is hooked up. Neutral safety switch. What else? We got the speed sensor that goes on the camshaft sprocket, which is right here. It's that sensor right there. We got it hooked up. And what else? The kickstand switch, the wire that goes in it is completely pulled out of it. So I had to get a new one. This is the plug for it here, which the other bike, well, the harness that came with this engine, they had it jumped out. So this is the plug. They just cut it off of the switch and tied the wires together. So basically what that does, it lets you crank the bike with the kickstand down. Oop. So it's a safety thing, so you won't take off with the kickstand down. But for right now, we're not going to worry about it. I'll get one sooner or later for it. What are we missing? We are missing the shifter with the foot peg. I did not know that was missing. It bolts right here, these two bolt holes, and goes on your shift shaft. So I had to order one of those. Again, when you buy these bikes or trading for these bikes or whatever, you get these things in the box. That's a part you don't know what you're missing. And I looked this thing over several times, and I did not notice it was missing the left foot peg with the shifter, with the shift rod on it. So I got one of them coming. It's going to be a couple days. We got a lot of snow and ice going on around the world. So hopefully we'll get it pretty soon and get that on there. The back tire, I aired it up, but it won't stay up long. It goes down like probably at the end of the day. So I'm going to have to get a tire for it. I got a new chain to go on it. So I'm trying to debate whether to put the chain on now or just wait till we get a tire. Man, I probably can air it up and ride around the block, but it's going to go back down. I don't even know if some green slime may even seal it for a minute. But we got the ECU plugged in. I still got to put some connectors for the stator because they had this wired into the other wire harness that came with the engine, and it's supposed to plug right here. It don't matter which way these wires go, they're not color coded. So I'm probably just going to put some butt connectors on there and hook that up. Those stator plugs on some bikes are known to get hot. That's because your stator is generating a lot of voltage running through the bike, going back to the voltage regulator and from the battery, and charging. So sometimes those plugs get melted together and people just cut them off and hardwire them, which the plug, I think, on this motor is also cut. Oh, no it ain't. It's not. This one's not cut. But I don't want to whack it off of here, and this is a good stator. So I'll just put some butt connectors on that other one, and we'll plug it up that way. I really don't want to change stators, get to digging into all that, mess the gaskets up on the covers, or I don't exactly know how that stator looks. Some of them is internal stator, I think behind the flywheel, and some of them run on the outside of the flywheel. I don't know, so we'll just put some butt connectors on this one, and if the charging system don't work, then I'll just go ahead and swap the stators out. So I got a new battery for it. So we're waiting on the shifter. What else? We got to put the exhaust on it, which I'm fixing to do now. Oh, I got to change the key switch. I don't know if I mentioned that. I was going to run the other gauge cluster that came with this engine and the ECU that came with this engine, but I decided to just run this ECU with this gauge cluster. It should all do the same, but I kind of like the other gauge cluster. So then we can see how many miles is actually on this bike. I got to repair this fuel line. It's supposed to have the quick disconnect on it like it does on the fuel rail. So I'm gonna have to somebody cut it, and they just put a hose clamp on there. I don't know what they were doing with this, but anyway, phone's ringing. So anyway, I got to fix that after I put the gas tank on there. And with the gas tank, it still got some of that rust treatment in it. So after it soaks on one end, I flip it and flip to the other end and let it soak. And then I'm going to put some like nuts or bolts in there and shake it around. So, and then after I get the exhaust on there, I'm going to put the radiator on, because you can't get the exhaust on without putting the radiator on. So the exhaust goes first, then put the radiator on, hook up the coolant lines, put some oil in it. I might try and fire it up without having the gas tank connected. I got the new fuel pump for it. Like I say, I can't put that in until I get the gas tank good and clean, and should be good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the exhaust on it and get the radiator hooked up and some other little things on it, and maybe we'll drop a battery in it, pour some gas down the throttle bodies and just see where they hit off, and then we'll work on that gas tank. So I got the exhaust on there, and got to tighten it up, and I noticed that it had a lot of play in the exhaust pipes up here, and the flanges are tight. But look at that, I mean the thing's moving. So I got to thinking, I wonder should there be some exhaust flange gaskets in there, and I was right, and I'll show you. Over here on the other engine, it had some little exhaust flange gaskets in each porthole, and I pulled them out, and here they are right here. So I got to pull the exhaust back off. The exhaust it had on there had these kind of brass flanges, and it had springs holding the tension somehow on those flanges. These flanges are actually just sitting in the holes, so it didn't need any gaskets. So I don't know what type of header or what type of exhaust this engine had on it, because it didn't come with the muffler. It just came with another pipe that connects to it that goes up, that will go up to the muffler. So I don't know. I might try to clean it up and see if there's any names on it. Might slap it on Marketplace or eBay. Maybe somebody needs a head pipe. They don't have any no, it's got one little dent. but it's real lightweight. So, but this muffler is missing the band clamp that goes around the muffler that connects to the foot peg. So I gotta find a clamp for that, and that way it'll be solid. It's got one bolt that mounts. It mounts where? Mounts right there. So that'll hold it up for now. But I'm gonna go ahead and get those flanges, exhaust flanges in there, and then tighten it back up. It should be good until we find a clamp for that muffler. Like I said, you don't know what you're getting into until you get into it. So either I'll make one or I'll see if I can buy one. I've had a lot of these D&D mufflers, like I say, and they sound real good. So it shouldn't be hard to find that clamp to go on there. Even if I have to look on eBay or something, or make one, maybe go to maybe a trucking parts store or something. Maybe I can find one. I don't know, we'll make something. So get that tightened up. I looked in there earlier and it's starting to loosen up the stuff that's up front, because like I said, up front of the tank, it's got a lot of stuff up here in these corners, and it's hard to get the pressure washer in there. So I've just been letting it sit, and then I plugged off the breather hoses, and I'm trying to flip it upside down. And hopefully I don't get splashed. Because up on the top of the gas tank, it's got a lot of stuff caked on there that you can't get to. It's starting to come out. You can smell the bad gas also. Whew. Alright, so we let that sit for a little bit, and hopefully that loosens up all that stuff that's down in the corners and crevices of the tank. I don't suspect I'm going to get this thing all the way clean, not sparkly clean, but it has two fuel filters on the center unit. It has that kind of mesh looking filter, and then it has a metal filter, like a round metal filter. So I guess the mesh filter picks up the big stuff, and if it goes through that, the big filter will pick up the small stuff. So I'm just gonna let it sit for a minute, catch my breath, probably pick it up, shake it around, and take the center unit out and see what we can get out of there and see how it looks. Like I said, I got the back part of the tank pretty clean, but it's up here on the top, right up on the gas cap and towards the front is what I can't see, unless I stick like a camera or something in there. But I don't have one. So, but I'm gonna let it sit for a minute and swish it around again and drain it, and we'll see what it looks like. Hopefully it looks pretty good. So let's see what's inside this tank now. We've been letting it soak, and I swished it around to let those nuts and bolts do their thing. So first, I gotta take the sending unit out. I might have cleaned the sending unit out too. Cleaned it a little bit. When I had it out, so we're going to take it back out. Hopefully this thing cleaned up quite a bit. Find out that Suzuki does not make this sending unit assembly, fuel pump assembly anymore. So you have to find a used one. There's an OEM one on eBay. The guy wants like $700 for it, so. And it's brand new with the fuel pump and everything. Oh, it cleaned that up. Ooh. Cleaned that up quite a bit. It had way more rust on it at first. Probably hit it with the wire brush, and that'll get the rest of that off of there. So let's see what come out of this tank. I know I can smell it. Bad gas is real strong, even though I pressure washed it. Oh man. I'm definitely gonna have to patch it out. You wouldn't think that gas would still smell bad, even though it's been pressure washed and soaked with evaporous. Some of those out there. Let me get a piece of cardboard to set this on. Get a light. Trying to look off in there and see what it looks like. You need to take the gas cap off too. Still a little flaky. Might have to re-soak it. I need the heater to kick it on now. All these fumes in here.
It's a little better. Right on this hump here, it's got like some crud right there. I might be able to take a wire brush. I got like a drill extension. Probably I can't see the other round the other way though. So what I might do is take that wire brush extension. See if I can. What's that? It's like stuck to the top. Back here looks real good. So yeah, I'm gonna try hit it with that wire brush on my drill bit extension. See if I can clean some of that off of there. It's kind of wet right now, so it should flake off. Like I say, up towards the front, up here, I can't say much about that. Hopefully the filter will pick up some of that, and gas will eat up that rust too when it hits it. So we'll see if we can get it as clean as we can get it to run. Okay, here is the sending unit fuel pump assembly off of the GSX-R. I had the camera so-called recording, but I didn't notice that it was maxed out on storage space, so I didn't get a chance to record the cleaning procedure of the sending unit. But I got all the little brackets and stuff clean, that holds the fuel filter and the fuel pump. This sending unit here don't have a float system. It's just got these sensors here. I guess one of them is for low fuel and the other one is for full. So I guess as the gas get low, this tells a light or something to come on the dash, which it don't have a gas gauge. But this is the old get some gloves on. The old fuel pump that was in the tank. That thing is rusty, stinky, probably locked up. I didn't even try hook no power to it. This is the original fuel filter. This is a special fuel filter for this bike only, and it is real hard to get. I found one, but it was probably going to take another week to get it, and probably longer due to the weather that's going on around the world right now, all this ice and snow. So I cleaned it out real good with some parts cleaner, blew through it with the air gun, so hopefully it'll filter and still work, because I can order one. Like I said, it's going to take a while to get it, and I want to get this bike cranked. So that's that. So in this box here, let me get this out of the way. Hate that bad gas smell. In this box here is the brand new fuel filter, fuel pump. A little bitty thing. So that's the new fuel pump. It's made by Quantum Systems. Got it off the old Amazon. Quantum equipped. So that's the fuel pump. Now this thing also has got a strainer, like on a car fuel pump. It has a strainer. This is the old strainer that actually snaps to the bottom of the fuel pump, and then it has the filter. So it comes with a new strainer, comes with a new wire harness. All that's in the bag.
And what else is in here? It comes with a thank you card with a 1-800 number, technical support. I guess you can scan that for installation tips. So, and this is the gasket and new bolts for the bottom of the gas tank. So, like I say, pick that up off the jungle place, as Derek calls it. So we should be able to put all this back together. Also, it's got this the shield that goes over everything. So once you get the fuel pump back in there, it's got this shield. Let's see, how does it go? It's like that. Like that. I tried to take some pictures of some of this stuff before I took it apart. There's no hole. Oh, I see how it goes. It's got a hole on that side. It's upside down. Yeah, it goes like that. So it's got the shield and the fuel pump and the filters and everything. Everything is inside of there. So I had to clean all this stuff up. Like I say, I thought I was recording, but my SD card ran out of space and I didn't get none of the cleaning process. So I guess we will start. Hopefully this is just like the OEM stuff, which it looks like it. So we got the fuel pump here. It's got this connector on it that you got to get the wires out of. I couldn't figure out how you get that off of there without breaking it. It's got some plastic wrap around the wires. It protects the wires from, I guess, rubbing. And that's got to come off the side that slide this little cover off. That's pretty doggone corroded. There's a little. That's socket. Well, I hope everybody's been keeping warm through all this snow and ice stuff going around. We've been having some real cold temperatures here in Memphis. Today is Thursday, and we got rain, freezing rain, and the streets are still snowed over in some spots, and icy patches from the other day, from I think Sunday night. So probably won't see it clear until the weekend. So just wiring off. Gotta make sure which one is positive and negative. So negative on that side. Man, that thing is right. It's almost like he left the gas cap open and it rained in the gas tank along with the gas. I didn't ask him how long this bike actually set up. Had to been for a couple years. It didn't have a tag on it or nothing, so should be able to put. I thought it came with a new harness. Where'd the box go? Yeah, it did come with a new harness. But the harness it came with has got this little plug on it. And this one don't have a. It came with a new harness, but it's got a plug, and that one, the wires actually screw onto the sending unit, so we won't be able to use that. So we'll put this back on, just like we took it off the other pump. Oh, it has these little holes where your wire connectors has got little tabs that stick out. It keeps that cap on there. One of them I bent. Actually, I think this side, only one side sticks out. I think. Yeah, it's on there. Now we can put the little wire protectors. Oh, and I re-looked up the whole sending unit deal, and it's actually I think it's $5.99. It's a whole sending unit, the whole thing with the fuel pump, fuel filters, brand new. The guy's got one OEM. I don't know where he could have got it from. I don't know if it was a motorcycle shop, but it's direct fit. But right, so That's back together. So now we got this. And the fuel pump goes. Like that, I believe. I took some pictures of it. I didn't look. So it's going to go on like that, and it's got this little bushing thing there, and then there's a clamp that goes on there, like that. You know, one thing, cold weather suck down cell phone batteries. Alright, so got that like that. And there's the strainer that goes at the bottom. Came with two different types of strainers. I don't know why. I guess it's kind of like a universal fit thing. Strainer. It's like that. I think the strainer goes in there first. Different type of strainer. Because not like that. So that strainer, this strainer won't work. It's the other one. Kind of different. The strainer, this strainer here goes straight up and down, and the other strainer is flat. So when it goes in on this one, it goes like that. So it's a difference in the strainers. And they said it was a direct fit. And you sure can't use that one because I wonder did this thing come off here? The other strainer is 10 times bigger. I don't see that working at all. This strainer is not going to work. This one. Only way it would work is if this wasn't there, but I don't want to go cutting into nothing. And this thing over here, it's all broke. Wait a minute. No, they don't come off. So I'm gonna have to figure something out on these strainers. I hate that one's broke. We probably could have cleaned it, but it's the plastic part's broke. It's kind of got me at a standstill now. So the only other option would be to cut that off, and that's, I mean, this clamp holds it, but if this one goes like that. I really don't want to cut that. On top of that, the little bracket, that cover bolts to the side of it. Why would they sell this like this? It's aftermarket stuff these days. Let's see if there's another strainer in the box. Nope. That's it. You can't sit on top of it because it'll be and every fuel pump I looked at was the same, unless I can order just a strainer. But what kind of time frame would that be? That ain't gonna work. Unless I can cut half of that off, leave half of it there, where I have still a spot for the fuel pump to sit in. Like if I cut this part here off and just left this outer edge, then the cover still go on it. And then that filter will have enough room to sit up in here. That'll be my only other option. Either that or try and, but I don't think you can buy this strainer separately. Man, if that one broke, I could clean it. It won't slide up under there. Yeah, that's going to be the only way I can do it. If I cut this off and cut that bottom off, well, what do you guys think? You're probably like, no, don't cut it. Find the right one. Find the right strainer. Yeah, if I cut that, then the strainer will sit It'll go right in that hole and it'll sit like that, flush. We can put the little plastic piece back on there because that keeps the strainer from rubbing vibration. It keeps it from rubbing the base of the unit. So it'll be like that. That's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm just gonna have to cut it. I mean, it hurts my heart. Hurts my soul. It's always something. See if we can do this without destroying. So let me cover that fuel pump up. So see, we still have that part that the fuel pump will sit on. We're just getting rid of this lower half. That's going to be kind of tricky there. So I can't cut. It's tack welded on there. Air pressure getting low a little bit. I'm trying to cut a slot in it. It's a thick piece of metal. I might turn the air compressor on. Let's see. Have to let the air build up. So I ended up cutting this little, it was like this little piece of metal that sticks up. It was like right there. I think it actually held the old filter up there, even though it had a little clip to hold it up under the fuel pump. This little rubber grommet here I'm not going to be able to use because the new strainer is so tall it won't let it sit flush inside that rubber. Right now I'm not going to worry about it. So it's going to go just like that. And it's got the little plastic pad at the bottom of the strainer to keep it from rubbing. So now I got to put this back on. This has got to go back on. This is a weird fuel pump setup. So that's going to line up like that. I got to make some hoses. The hose that goes, I believe, that way. Let me look at the picture, I forgot. So it goes like that. Alright. Now it's gonna go like this. Yeah, like that. Then we got the hose that bends. We got a lot of hoses. Oh, that's not right. No, that's wrong. It's gotta go like that. Let's see, if I put it like that, this fuel pump is backwards. I have to take this back out. Hope I don't break it. It's gonna have to go like this, because that's got to go that way, No. Is that right? No, it goes like that. Man, this thing sucks. And that's going to put the fuel pump way away. Well, I guess I could put the rubber thing on there now. Because there we go. Look at that. So this is gotta go. I'm gonna have to force that screw in there on that clamp. Unless I flip this around this way. Every time I get something aftermarket, I gotta make it work. So yeah, that'll work like that. And then that goes like it's a short piece of hose. It's got to be that short. So let's take some hose. Make sure it's going to fit both ends. Over there. You have to cut it off. I do not like this fuel pump. Some more cut off of it. Problem is, but a little bit more cut. Get some hose clamps. One more hose clamp. Maybe this time I can get this doggone thing together. They got these little hoses. As far down as it's gonna go. We'll have to make that work. Alright, so that's on there. So now we got to put the filter part on here. And I got to make a hose. So it had to have a screw to hold the fuel pump by itself on each side. Let me go ahead and get that tightened down because it's just flopping all over the doggone place. That ain't gonna look the prettiest, but it's gonna have to work. That's a start. That ain't going well. Alright, so now I gotta get this fuel filter, get a hose for it. I'm thinking that was the hose that went there. I might have a piece. gonna slide that past there for right now. Guess I gotta move the hose again. At least clean the screws up. But I think the longer screws go here. Ah, I almost forgot. I gotta put a hose. Why do you got all these hoses? I gotta put a piece of hose right there. And that was this one. Look at all these hoses you gotta put. I hope they went to a better setup in the later years. This thing has got 3 hoses. That means I gotta put a hose clamp there. Bam. I guess we'll put that one middle ways. Might have to take that other one back out. Is that a different size or something? Kind of compress it all together. These 2 clamps here are fighting it. Well, that one clamp is fighting against the hose in the middle. There we go. Man, freaking jigsaw puzzle. This is the strangest in-tank pump I've ever seen on a motorcycle. Then if this filter clogs up, and you don't have any fuel, then you gotta take the whole gas tank thing apart. Well, that's wrong there. That's supposed to go. That's supposed to go up under there. I didn't see that on the other side. Oh man, come on. I gotta bend that back up. You gotta have almost 2 hands. 2 extra hands, I mean, to put this thing together, because it's got all these little brackets. One side, now I gotta stretch that side around. I think we will be oh, this is lovely. Ribs are kind of holding me up now. Just gotta get this hole lined up. Makes me wish I would just went ahead and spent the money and and bought the complete sending unit and been done with it. That screw is about to strip. I think somebody's been in here before, probably replaced the fuel pump. Either that or I didn't get it started straight. That's good enough. I don't see that fuel pump going nowhere. Like I said, it ain't the prettiest, but it ain't the prettiest, but it's gonna have to do. Now we just gotta put these hoses back on. Hose clamps, I mean. Somebody's out playing in the ice. So we put these to the side. Alright, so there's my fuel pump assembly for the GSX-R. Oh, and I forgot, this ground wire's got to hook up. That ground wire hooks. Tell you what, we ain't gonna disturb that one. What should be the easiest side? Tell you what, we'll put that ground wire over here. I think that's where it goes anyway. I forgot about it. Don't need that coming loose. And then the hot wire goes to this prong right here. What I really need to do before I even put it in the tank, I really need to just hook the battery up, turn the key on, and make sure it's going to work. That way if I got to clean any of these connections or anything, where'd that trash come from? If I got to clean any of these connections, I can clean it and then I can make sure the pump works also. So that's all hooked up. So now I got to put that case on there. Make sure all this stuff's out of the way. I got the screws. All the hoses are tight. Put the gasket on last. Make sure no wires touching. So there it is. Sending units back together. You just see me take 3 hours to do it. But everything's tight on the hoses. So hopefully the pump works and we have fuel pressure and she'll fire up. So I am going to take a break. We'll get the battery in the bike and we'll hook this up to the bike. Oh, I got to put the key switch on. First I got to change the key switch. Then we'll plug this to the bike. We'll turn the key on just to make sure this pump's going to work. I could jump it right here actually. if I wanted to. Just about there. We could jump it right here and see if it works. I just want to make sure it works before I go to put it all in the tank, bolt it up, and then come find out the pump's no good because it's an aftermarket pump. Then I had to take it all the way back out. So I tell you what we could do, but we could, well, we'll know if the fuel pump relay is working too. So yeah, I'll just get it hooked to the bike, put the battery in the bike and get it hooked to the bike, and then we'll test it. Then that way we'll know if the fuel pump relay is working. We'll know all that's working, and knock out two birds with one stone. Because like I say, it's too much work to have to pull all this back out of the tank, especially if you put gas in it. So alright, so I'm going to change this key switch out, and it's got those security bolts, the star bolts with the little tit in the middle, I guess. They're called security bolts, so you can't just stick a regular I think it might be a T34 star head bit in it, because you got to have the ones with the hole with the security bit. So I tried to go all the way up to a long extension. It's not going to work. It's hard to see, land on your back. So that's the wrong socket. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this top triple tree off, and with the key switch, that way I can just flip it over and easily get to it. Just take this nut loose. There's two 10mm bolts that holds the handlebars. Even though they're clamped, but they got this extra bolt that goes up under this top triple tree. Now, hopefully I can get this one out without taking the, well, I'm going to have to take the front brake reservoir off. I did have to remove that bracket, that support that holds the windshield, the front fairing up. These are 12s. Shouldn't even have to take them all the way out, really. Well, since I'm already at it. Now I gotta take this big nut loose there. See what size that is. That is an 1.25 inches. What is holding me up here? Oh, it's got a bracket, little wire looking bracket that's holding the corner for the key switch. How would you get that in there? Well, I guess we can flip it upside down, but I'd rather take it out of there. Let me see, can I? They got this little corny curly Q wire holder thing. I'd rather have it out and put it on the bench so that way if I got to, sometimes you can take something and knock that little peg or whatever you want to call it out of that security bit and just use a regular Torx bit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I mean, they got that all tangled up in there. That's not even the key switch. What is it? It's part of the harness. Can it go all the way around there? Yep. I have to get a flathead. I don't know what the deal is with that. We made sure these harnesses weren't going to come up out of there. And this is I guess if you were going to try and steal the bike, you'd have to sit here and wrestle with it to get the top triple tree off. Alright, so that was the curly Q thing I was talking about. The wires or the harness goes around in the inside of it. But you can see those Torx security bits that you will need to get those out. So I'm going to have to see if I got some. Those are pretty thick too. Sometimes you can knock that little, with a chisel, you can knock that little tit out the middle, but on this one you're not going to be able to do it. So let me see what I can find. Okay, here we are. So this is actually a T40 Torx security bit. It's much easier if you do it up here on the workbench. Oop. Out with the old switch. Now I still have the key to this switch, but the key is broken. It's broken in half. So I say it was broke off in the gas tank thing, gas tank top. So here's a new switch, just a cheap switch. It came with the gas cap and the helmet lock, or it's the seat lock. Good old Amazon. Boy, I can remember back in the day when you couldn't get nothing from nowhere but the dealership. You had to go to the dealership, or if you had one of those catalogs from like Dennis Kurt or Chaparral, and probably some more places. I used to spend hours and hours at night when I was younger, when I had first dirt bikes and stuff, just looking through Dennis Kurt catalog, all the different motorcycle parts they had, and jerseys and helmets, and I mean sticker kits. Now you can just go on the internet, one click, get it delivered to your door. And Amazon sells a lot of stuff that's on eBay also. Vendors just branch their stuff out to different places like Walmart, stuff like that. You can buy it through them. Back then it was internet, but it wasn't real big, like AOL, I think, you know, stuff like that. But anyway, new key switch installed that fast. Now I can put this back on, and we will hook the battery up and the fuel pump, see what will come on, and then we can also see does the starter button and all that stuff work. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and this key switch here, I have the key code. I think it's on the key. Pinner's lock and key 6628890A3. This is a copy. This is actually a copy, so I can take this key and get one made and have a good key switch for something else. So we'll hold on to this because it still works. And like I say, we might can use it on another bike. Alright guys, so I got the ignition switch hooked up. I also wired the stator wires up that were cut. And now I'm going to hook the battery up and turn the key on. And let's see what powers up as far as the starter, and maybe we'll be able to spray a little gas in her and see what it hit off, and then we'll test the fuel pump, and then I will move on getting the gas tank ready to see if it's gonna run on its own. Still waiting on the shifter to come. It's supposed to be here hopefully tomorrow. Today is Thursday, so hopefully we'll get it tomorrow. But it's still going to be really cold and really iced over, so even if I did get it running, I won't be able to drive it or ride it because of the weather.
This back tire is already slick, so it won't stand a chance in the ice. But at least we can get it running and have it ready for when the weather does break. We can see what she's gonna do. So I'm fixing to turn the key on. So here we go. Contact. And we got nothing. I wonder if this battery. I wonder if this battery, a brand new battery, but it's been sitting. I don't know if it's dead. But we got nothing. No horn. Well, the horn ain't hooked up. And I'm hoping this aftermarket key switch I think this, I'm wondering about this key switch because the wires don't look like they're in the right spot. And I think that's what the problem is. Oh, we got tail light. Tail light's on. Is the headlights on? Is that the park light? Let's see if it's a, well, I hate to hit the brake. Front brake I know kind of lock up. Brake switch. You got no dash lights, no brake light, but it's a tail light. What's up with that? It looked like to me these wires are in a different spot than the original key switch. Tail lights on, but the wires where they go to the key switch, it's looks like they're in a different spot. And I'll show you. Like, you got orange here, but there's a brown over here. You got red here, there's a red there. Red and white here, there's a brown over there. Black and white. Black. Let's look at the... Let's see how this looks. There's a red. Let's see what the brown is. Red, brown. Something. The pins is not right. This key switch is not wired right. I'm gonna have to take the wires out. It's new, but it's, if you look at it, so you got orange, and then on the other end is brown, and then you got the red is right, black and black is right, but then you got red and white, and then you got brown on the other end.
So this key switch is not pinned right. Because if I line it up with the old switch, yeah, orange is supposed to be on the top side. It's supposed to be red, black and white, and orange. I don't know what that other black is for. I'm gonna have to, man, I hate that key is broke. If I put that key in there, that's gonna be a wrap. The broken part. I know I won't get it out. Unless, well, I can't take the switch apart. I'm gonna see if I can switch these wires around, color code them, because it's got a tail light, but it ain't got nothing else. No dash. And I believe because of this switch being aftermarket, that orange wire is supposed to go straight across with the orange, and it's got a brown and white there instead. So let me swap that around and see what that does. Alright, so I got the brown and white wire pulled out, and I put the orange wire where it's supposed to be. But I'm not sure about this brown and white wire. I sure hate to hook it up and blow something. But looking like all the other wires, except for the brown, see, because it's two red wires. It's a red and white and a red. That's a red. So I'm wondering, well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna leave that brown wire out. Let's just turn the switch on and see what happens. Don't have no clutch switch, does it? Nothing. I guess we can try it. If it blows a fuse, it just blows a fuse, huh? Still got tail light. Nothing there. Another thing I was thinking about, if I took the switch back out and I'm gonna check the fuses on the fuse box. If I took the switch back out and just swapped this bottom, I have to drill these non Phillips head or flathead screws out. They look like rivets. I had to drill those out and put this bottom, the electrical part, on the new switch. I've had to do that before. If you watch my channel in the past, I've done that plenty of times, especially on these aftermarket switches, because I don't know what wire is what on this new switch. I thought I paid attention to it. So should we try and swap? Because it's got a black, there's a black and white. I wonder what happened if we put that red and black where that black and white is. Man, let me check the fuse in the fuse box before I do anything else. They got a Phillips head screw on the fuse box. Bear with me for a minute. Make sure there ain't no bulb fuses, because he could have had it's a dirt dauber's nest in there. He could have blew the fuses. Well, we got, let's see. Ignition's 10A. Let me get a flashlight right quick, hold on. See, we got any blown fuses? No? All the fuses look good, so that ain't a problem. Fuse on the starter solenoid looks good. So I say let's just swap this. Surely one of these wires. So we're gonna swap I'm gonna put that, because it's got an orange and white wire in the middle. If this don't work, then I'm just gonna have to try and swap the I'm not gonna hook this black and white one up. That might be a ground or something. We ain't got no tail light. Ain't got no tail light now. So that wire going there was doing something. I think it's putting hot to the tail. Hot to the tail. Yeah, I believe I'm gonna have to do some research. Probably have to swap either the bottom off the old switch onto the new switch, or look at the wire diagram. But since this is an aftermarket switch, I don't know where those wires are going. We didn't blow a fuse, so that's good. Something ain't right. So let me do some thinking, some wire checking, and can't figure it out. I'll just take the old switch apart, swap this bottom off the old switch onto the new one. I could just drill this out if I want to right now. Stick a screwdriver in there just to see what it turn over. We can do that. If I got a drill bit sharp enough to drill those rivets out. So let me do some thinking on it. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I went ahead and just shoved the broken key off in the original key switch. And I got the ignition turned on. I've been noticing something funny about it too. The neutral light works sometimes and sometimes it won't. When I tried wiggling the shifter, well, the shift shaft, and the light will come on and go out. So maybe it's got something to do with the neutral switch, but we're gonna see what this key switch is gonna do. Hopefully that's what it is. So let's see if we can get this thing to fire off. Maybe it'll work. Key is on, no neutral light. I don't know about that. Light's still on, still no fire. Oh, it cranked. It cranked. So it's got to be this key switch. What was that? It blew wasp nest out of it blew wasp nest out of the pipe. 2 wasp nests came out. I would have hated to been around that when they were in there. 2 big wasp nests too. Well, 1 little one and 1 big one. So hey, it fires. So it's got to be that key switch. So I'm probably gonna have to take the bottom off this switch and put it on the new switch. Let's see what it hit again. All the lights still on. Sounds pretty good. So now we know it's got to be in the key switch. So that's going to be my next step. Let's check the fuel pump. Make sure it works before I disconnect everything and get to messing with stuff. We should be able to hear it. Should be able to hear it come on and do something. I guess if I unhook the key switch and hook it back up, we should hear it hum like it's trying to prime the fuel injectors. I ain't hear nothing. Does it have to be grounded to the gas tank? Are we still firing? The neutral light's got me kind of wondering why it does that. So now we ain't firing anymore. And it gives that F1. Let's see. Now we're not firing. This is the kickstand switch. When I'm pulling it, the neutral light comes on. And the gas light is on. Was it the key switch? Okay, neutral light still on. So now it acts like it's not firing again. That is strange. Now it's saying check. Check wet. Now the neutral light's staying on all the time. It says check the gear shift. Okay, neutral light out. Neutral light on. Now neutral light's out. Something is I don't know what check means. Something's going on here. I was hoping it was the key switch, but it says check on the dash. Let's unhook the fuel pump. Saying check oil. The oil light's flashing. It's got oil in it. I put some in it. Okay, Mr. Motorcycle. How much oil you got in it? Standing straight up is level. Maybe I need to unhook the battery cable. That's strange, folks. It's firing 1 minute and the next minute it ain't. Keep saying check. Maybe because it don't have any coolant in it, it's saying check. It won't fire. Oh man, kind of lost now. It won't stop saying check. Maybe I ought to unhook the battery cable, hook it back up, and reset the ECU. Take 3 days to get the battery cable back on. Alright, let's see. Still saying check. Check what? The oil light is blinking. Some reason the fire is coming and going. So again, let me do some more investigating in that. Well, at least we know the engine runs anyway. Just don't have any fuel going to it like it's supposed to. And let me do some more checking on it. Probably just need to sleep on it. So now the neutral light's back on. It's like whenever it says check on the dash is when it don't want to crank. But before when it wanted to start, it wasn't showing anything on that side. It wasn't even showing an oil light. So let's just wait till tomorrow, mess with it, see what we can come up with.